Two white guys sitting in a trailer talking about how great Kubrick and Tarantino are. Heavy hitting, guys.
Hey everyone, before we jump into the show, I want to tell you about our merch store on Threadless. Shop a wide variety of logos with multiple colors and sizes available for each design. Your support is greatly appreciated and helps us continue to make killer content like this episode. Please visit supercoolradio.threadless.com or the link in the description to shop now.
Hello, everyone. I am Matthew Thomas. This is Super Cool Radio coming at you from Bardo's Lakeside Lounge in lovely Elkhart, Indiana. Should be familiar with my guest this time. Second appearance here on Super Cool Radio just this year. He's a guitarist for the Lonely Ones and the bassist for Bobaflex. Please welcome Jymmy Tolland.
What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
It is really nice to have you back on.
Be back twice in one summer?
Yeah, exactly. I think was it May? I think I had, Yeah, so nice to have you on. Always a great time hanging out with you guys. So I got to ask, so there was a lot of talk about Bobaflex in a previous interview because of the huge announcement about playing the music festival. Yeah. So now you guys released a new single I'll blow your dreams into the sky.
Yes, sir.
How does it feel to have Bobaflex and the Lonely Ones both active now?
It's tough for me to remember what I'm doing at any particular rehearsal, which amp I got to set up. I mean, broadly speaking, the Lonely Ones is a much more active band than Bobaflex is, but we definitely have plans to do 3 or 4, 5 shows a year as Bobaflex, and so that kind of you're always keeping the kettle warm, even if it's not boiling. And it's funnily enough, that's been my biggest struggle is going to rehearsal and forgetting, just with all the same guy or most of the same guys, forgetting what instrument I'm supposed to play on any given day, and then remember this Bobaflex is bass.
You got to color coordinate the days.
Yeah.
Well, and for you, is it different, like recording a Bobaflex song compared to a Lonely One song?
Very, very different. I mean, the meticulousness is still the same. Marty and I did a lot of like the co-producing in more recent Bobaflex stuff, as well as the Lonely One stuff. So we're the same people with the same ears, and we're both very meticulous listeners, but the end goal is very, very, very different. The Lonely Ones were kind of leaning into this slightly more like rough around the edges, like modern, dancey, bluesy kind of thing. So there's a little bit of room for, a little bit of push and pull. So you're not looking for the same problems to fix.
That is a very good point. And you guys, I know both bands, like they're in the rock genre, but they're distinctive enough where it doesn't sound like, oh, this is the Lonely Ones, or like, oh, this is like the Bobaflex, but slightly different. Like you guys are distinct enough where I can tell, okay, that's Bobaflex, that's the Lonely Ones.
That was an intentional choice that took us a little bit of time to get right. We knew we wanted to do it, but like anything, an object in motion stays in motion. And coming right off of Bobaflex, even some of the early Lonely One songs were originally intended to be Bobaflex songs. So you can only do so much with those. And then, as you get further and further away time-wise, and you have an experience writing something and something clicks here, and you go, oh, I like the way that this sounded. Let's expand on that. And then so, now we're, we've been writing as the Lonely Ones for about 2.5 years now. So we've got some experience in what we like sonically and how we want the songs to sound and how we want them to differ from Bobaflex.
Do you think you're in the groove with like writing the Lonely Ones material and Bobaflex material, since now you've got some time with the Lonely Ones, as you said, and of course Bobaflex, you had a lot of albums and shows with that. Do you think you're in the groove for both bands?
I'm a much more active writer for the Lonely Ones, partially because I play guitar now, partially because it was something that was a little bit of a blank slate artistically. When we started the Lonely Ones, Bobaflex, I'd very rarely from scratch write something for Bobaflex. A lot of times that's Marty or Sean start with the broad idea. There's exceptions to those rules, but it's I would say 80 to 90% of the stuff that Bobaflex writes comes off of something that either Marty or Sean started with. So I usually take stuff from them more in the second, third, or fourth step of the process, as opposed to the Lonely Ones where I'll often see it from the beginning.
No, it is really cool, and I know for you, obviously you did switch the guitar for the Lonely Ones. How is added Tru Payne Roberts?
Yeah,
which is a cool name, by the way.
It is.
How has added him to the live show for the Lonely Ones? Has that changed the dynamic of the band?
Yeah. He's a perfect fit for the band. He's very much a rock and roll guy, like us. So I think that kind of suits what I was saying, that slightly loose, slightly off the rails, shaky, dancey blues rock thing, that the way he approaches music kind of complements that. And he's also, he was one of my best friends before he was in the band. He was, if you ever saw us out and about, me or Marty out and about around Columbus, Ohio before Tru was in the band, it was very likely that Tru was with us. So it was not a super difficult.
It was a big change, yeah. What I noticed, especially, I saw you guys in May, and I also saw you guys last August, a little over a year ago, too. To me, I really liked the May show, and I saw you guys. You guys sounded really tight. It was a lot of rock and roll, and just seeing the way you guys all interact, he's a very good fit for the band.
Oh, he's great. He's a great add to the band.
So definitely, and I know the Lonely Ones, you guys have opened for many awesome bands. Is there anyone, any particular band that you really want to perform with?
Man, I want One of my favorite bands is Royal Blood. I would kill to open for them. Dead Poet Society, same thing. Bad Flower. I'm talking Dirty Honey. Highly Suspect. We were talking about stylistically, the Lonely Ones being a little bit different of a thing. In the last few years, 3, 4, 5 years, even towards the end of Bobaflex, we all kind of got wrapped up in this kind of proto resurgence of like vintage influenced rock. Greta Van Fleet would obviously be the top of the heap as far as that goes. And I love all those bands. So that any of those types of bands like that are right up my alley, and I would love to play with them.
I think you guys, Dirty Honey, would be amazing. I think also you guys and Mammoth Van Halen would be awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, somebody make that happen. Whoever's watching, please make that happen.
Yeah, please. That was no disrespect me not naming that. I definitely want you to.
Because I saw him live, and it's just amazing. Like, you can tell he is Eddie Van Halen's kid.
Did you see them with Dirty Honey?
Dirty Honey in February, yeah.
I didn't get to see that tour. I just missed him when he was opening for GNR. Was it GNR? I think it was GNR. Yeah, it was back in November, I think, October, something like that. And I just, of course, me and Tru and Marty were going to the show before Tru was in the band, and we were all running later than hell, so we didn't get to catch it.
Damn, dude, yeah. Like, honestly, highly recommend. Like, it sounds so good.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I can't really describe it. It's like if anyone's seen Alter Bridge, like that level, yeah.
I've heard really good things about the show.
And Dirty Honey too. Like it was a perfect combination for that tour just because of how well they sounded.
Yeah. And
there was only 2 bands on that tour, and I was like,
oh, there was no opener.
No, it was just those 2.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Like, I didn't need any more. I was like, they both killed it. So highly recommend, and hopefully I get to see you guys open for Mammoth Van Halen.
Oh man, that'd be so great.
Again, somebody please make that happen. Now, I know you got a lot going on today, so I won't take up too much of your time. I do got a cool question. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Do it.
What is one book, one album, and one movie everyone should check out in their lifetime?
One book, one album, one movie. As far as books, I'm going to get a little bit... I'm going to give you a controversial... Well, yeah, all right. I'm going to
do it.
I'm going to give you a weird one that nobody would ever give you.
Okay.
And I'd like to preface it by saying that I do drink, but the big book, which is the Alcoholics Anonymous Handbook, a very good friend of mine gave it to me just in passing. Somebody was getting sober, and it can help guide somebody through that process. And I was reading that book, and that shit fucking hit me right in the heart. It's got, like, whether or not you drink or you're trying to drink, not trying to quit drinking, whatever, there's some banger quotes in that book. There's some shit that, drinking aside, if you got some shit you need to work on,
yeah,
it's good.
I've heard like people not even dealing with alcoholism. It's like other drugs too, and they've read that, and it's very deep, and it's also really good quotes. Like, I remember I think one quotes is like, why do you drink? Like, are you consuming alcohol, or is alcohol consuming you? I know that's one of the big lines from that as well.
One of my favorite. It's about a paragraph long, so I'll cut it down and paraphrase a little bit. But it's essentially about being the director of a play and talking about how it takes more than just the director to make the play, and it's almost talking to people that are around an alcoholic as opposed to the alcoholic themselves. Talking about how if I could just get the set dressing right, if I could just get the actors to understand exactly what my vision is, if I could just get the lights just right, then everything would be perfect. The implication being that you're never going to get that. So it's best to just deal with what you got and move forward. Quit trying to, get everything perfect to where it'll line up and you can sink it in one shot.
That's very good life advice.
Yeah, so I would highly recommend that. Like I said, fortunately, I don't struggle with addiction. But even if you don't, killer book, worth a read. Surprisingly not super boring or preachy. Let's see. So what was the next one? Album?
One album, yep.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and say it's the perfect blues rock record, Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones. There's not only is there no skips on that record, there's no songs on that record that aren't 10 out of 10. There's no 9s. Front to back, perfect rock and roll record. And then what was the...
One movie.
I got to go with Django Unchained. I love that movie so much. It's just like... That's like that and maybe The Godfather are the movies that I could right now, like let's say show's canceled, and I got to sit here for a few hours. I could put that movie on right now, and I know it front to back. I could watch it again and not get bored. Then tomorrow, you and me could be hanging out. Something breaks down, whatever, we're stuck. I go, well, I could watch it again.
See, every time the second or third person I've asked, and like I think everyone has said a Quentin Tarantino movie.
They're just so rewatchable. It's like
you pick up different things.
Yeah.
Every time you watch it.
Yeah, it's so layered and awesome. I guess Kubrick could kind of fit that same. Now I sound like the most generic white guy on the planet. Two white guys sitting in a trailer talking about how great Kubrick and Tarantino are. Heavy hitting, guys.
Yeah, we're really getting deep with this. Oh my god, no stereotypes here. That's all right. All right.
You ever be in the middle of a stereotype, you realize you're doing it to yourself. You go, fuck. I'm that guy they always write about.
I'm literally living this right now.
I'm about to eat some avocado on toast.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, we are living, breathing stereotypes right now. Oh man.
If this was 5 years ago, I'd have a man bun.
Those did go out of fashion pretty quick.
What was it called? A romp him? Those were like 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
Romp him and a man bun.
Oh, man. I'm glad we don't have any of that here.
No.
At least.
No.
Well, actually, I'm wearing a hat. No one knows. All right. As I wrap up this interview, I talked about this a few months ago with you. Has the plans for Bobaflex and the Lonely Ones changed in the last couple months, or are you still just going to be playing killer shows, writing killer music?
Killer shows, killer music. Stylistically, I feel like since I talked to you last, we were just starting to define where we wanted the Lonely Ones to really end up sonically with me on guitar. Since then, we've put, I think, 4 or 5 more songs in the can, written, recorded, and all that. So I feel like we've kind of got our line in the sand drawn for, this is what we sound like, with me on guitar. Bobaflex, keep on trucking, play the big shows, sell the good t-shirts, write the good songs.
Sounds pretty simple, straightforward, and I love all of it. You guys, you got your work cut out for you for next year, for this year and even into next year.
I do.
So you better get on that. Now, the biggest question I have that the world wants to know and everybody watching. So today is a kickoff for 2 certain college football teams.
Oh, yeah.
Notre Dame and the Ohio State. Who do you think's going to win?
I got to say Ohio State, and here's why. I brag about not knowing anything about sports, guys, so I'm going to try to not do that. I don't know any one of the players on either one of the teams. But if I say Notre Dame and then go back to my hometown of Columbus, Ohio, and somebody sees the interview, I'm getting my head kicked in. So go Buckeyes, baby.
Smart and safe. I like it. See, that would be like me saying Ohio State too, yet I live in Indiana.
But yeah, we're in northern Indiana right now. So if I go outside and you hear me say, go Notre Dame, I'm also Irish, so maybe I can play it off out here. Then once I cross the border back to Ohio, it's Buckeyes all the way.
You have to play it safe. That's why, but I honestly, I don't know who's going to win, so there you go. But Jimmy, thank you so much for hanging out with me here on Super Cool Radio. I know you got a rockin' show to be playing very soon. I probably held you up like I did with the last interview.
Never.
But that's all right. So really appreciate it. For Jymmy of the Lonely Ones, I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty. Woo!